Coming up, the Cubs hold off a late comeback attempt in Detroit. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB.
Every game, every team, every angle. Locked On Game to Game, your team every day.
Welcome in. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. Local experts join us, then we recap all of the action for you from yesterday across Major League Baseball. I'm your host, Kainani Stephen. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. The Cubs and Tigers went back and forth in the late innings last night before Chicago took the lead for good in the ninth. Locked On Cubs tells us about the win.
Whew, Cubs survive. 7-6, crazy game in Detroit. Cubs were up 5-2. Game kind of felt in control, and then it all went south in the eighth. Michael Fulmer gave up 3 runs, some kind of crazy bloopers, broken bats. We all know how that goes. Cubs rallied back in the top of the ninth. Yan Gomes double, Nick Madrigal double, then added one more insurance run on a force play to make it 7-5. Then it got interesting in the ninth, but Mark Leiter Jr. nailed it down with Adbert Alzolay not available. The Tigers are tough. Torkelson and Carpenter right now are as hot as anybody in the American League, and I was a little concerned about this series heading into it, and I am very grateful for the win. Cubs continue to play good baseball and build on their lead for that third wildcard spot, and I believe because of the Giants' loss, they actually are tied for the second wildcard spot now as well.
The Pirates embarrassed the Cardinals yesterday with a 10-run win in Pittsburgh. Our Locked On hosts recap the division battle.
Not exactly the debut that you dream about, as Drew Rom finds out the hard way that major league hitters, even on a bad team, can still light you up. Hey, it's JD from Locked On Cardinals, and rookie left-hander Drew Rom had his way with AAA hitters at his first 2 starts, since getting traded to the Cardinals from Baltimore in the Jack Flaherty deal. But life in the major leagues is so quite different than it is at AAA. It did not go well for Rom tonight. He allows 8 runs, 6 of them earned on 8 hits, including a 3-run blast by Joshua Palacios. He walks 4 over 3 2/3 innings against the Pirates. Not a great start. Cardinals are down 8-0 before the 5th inning. They go on to lose it 11-1. Does this mean that Drew Rom is garbage and they should cut bait with him? No, that's not what it means, but it's one start. Hopefully he learns from what happened tonight and gets better moving forward, progress from it. The Cardinals fall to 0-4 against Pittsburgh on the year. They'll have Adam Wainwright on the mound tomorrow night, going for a career win, number 199 once again. For the latest updates and info, be sure to keep it Locked On Cardinals.
Coming up, the Phillies get a big win over another wild card competitor. This is Locked On Game to Game, MLB. Today's edition of Locked On Game to Game is brought to you by Bird Dogs. They're the stylish yet comfortable shorts for men. If you go to birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB, you can enter our promo code LockedOnMLB for a free white tech hat with your order. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnMLB or promo code LockedOnMLB for a free white tech hat. You won't want to take your bird dogs off, we promise. Welcome back. You're listening to Locked On Game to Game MLB. I'm your host, Kainani Stevens. The Phillies and Giants both sit in an NL wildcard race that's getting tighter by the day, and the Phillies took Game 1 of a crucial series to start the week between those two teams. Our Locked On Phillies takes you through the box score.
What a nice offensive performance by your Philadelphia Phillies tonight. Connor Thomas, your host of Locked On Phillies. And in Game 1 of what could be your first-round wildcard matchup for the Phils, they just hung it on the Giants. I mean, Bryce Harper inside the park home run, electric. Edmundo Sosa, a home run early to get started, home run and a triple in the game. Really good work by him. Kyle Schwarber sent one to the moon. Trey Turner looks like he's figuring it out. Like, if good Trey Turner is here, that's a problem for the rest of the National League. And Aaron Nola struggled early. I jumped on him on Twitter. I still don't like him starting a playoff game right now, but he battled. He got you through what could have been a quick start and ended up giving you 7. So a really, really nice win for your Philadelphia Phillies. Consistency is the key, though, with this team. You got to go out. You got to take at least 2 or 3 from the Giants. This is a great way to start off a very important series, though. We'll talk more on the next episode of Locked On Phillies.
The Astros bounced back from a tough start and beat the Red Sox on Monday night, and our Locked On hosts tell you how it happened.
Hi, it's Gabby from Locked On Red Sox here. Absolutely frustrating night for the Red Sox. They came into the series with a lot of momentum after sweeping the Yankees in what was a thriller on Sunday and ended up falling 9-4 tonight to the Astros. James Paxton did not look good at all, was only able to get through 4 innings and gave up 6 earned runs. And then Chris Murphy came in, struggled a bit. I give him credit because he did allow the rest of the bullpen to rest. And if they want any chance of winning this series, they're going to have to keep their best bullpen arms rested and available. So I give him props for that, but I expect him to be sent down to AAA when Tanner Houck comes back. 3 hits apiece for Verdugo and Duvall, but the Red Sox just left way too many runners on base. So absolutely not their night, but got to get it back tomorrow. And please clean up the sloppy defensive mistakes.
Hey there, HM Wayhouse here with Locked on Astros, and the Astros beat the Red Sox, the streaking Red Sox, 9-4 tonight. Look, Paxton was on the mound, and the last time he faced them with the Yankees, he actually dominated them and outdueled Justin Verlander. Not tonight. That's right, the Houston Astros defeated them. Chas McCormick was chomping tonight, 2 home runs, his 4th multi-home run game of his career, his 3rd this year. Diaz and McCormick went back-to-back. Hitters 5 through 9 each had 2 hits. Look, everybody got a hit. It was a hit parade tonight. And Javier, despite his early struggles, giving up 3 runs in the first to Adam Duvall, 3-run shot, and struggling with command, only managed to walk 3 batters and only managed to give up 3 runs. They got a run late, made it 9-4. The Astros win. The Rangers also lose. The Astros gain a game in the AL West. Stay tuned in to Locked on Astros for your team every day.
A recent hot streak has the Diamondbacks back in the middle of that NL wildcard race, but now they start a series with another team that's fighting for the postseason in the Rangers. The Locked on hosts with both teams go over the final.
The answer backs are finally back as the D-backs take down the Texas Rangers in extra innings. Miller Thomas of Locked on Diamondbacks here. It feels like the first time truly in the second half of the season that we can call the D-backs the answer backs, because in the first half, all the D-backs did was come back against opponents, and in the second half that hasn't been the case. We've seen a lot of losing, and it felt like the D-backs were going to take another loss in game 1 against the Texas Rangers because their pitching was absolutely phenomenal. But through 8 and something innings, the D-backs didn't put any runs on the board, and then all of a sudden in the 9th inning with no runs on, Ketel Marte, solo home run to tie up the game. D-backs enter the bottom of the 11th, down 3-1. Perdomo big hit, Tommy Pham walk-off. D-backs end up taking the victory. Small 2-game series against the Texas Rangers. So at the very least, they're not going to lose this series against one of the best teams in Major League Baseball. And with the D-backs still fighting for their playoff lives, I need a sweep against the Rangers.
The Marlins traded for Ryan Weathers at the deadline, and in his first start with Miami, he visited his old team in the Padres. After the reunion in San Diego, our Locked on Padres host has more.
It's just, I am so grateful for Ha-Seong Kim. What's up, everybody? Javier Reyes here of Locked on Padres podcast. That's basically the full story. 6-2 win for the Padres. A nice start from Michael Wacha, his second after coming back from the IL. I mean, he's been one of the great, hidden gems of the free agent class from this past year. Dare I say, one of the best overall pitchers, like Nate Eovaldi's up there, but what's his face? DeGrom got hurt, and then Rodon's been hurt and bad, but, Wacha's been so awesome all year, and hasn't gotten nearly enough credit, I think, for myself included, but this game is about Ha-Seong Kim. Grand slam to start off this bad boy off of former Padre Ryan Weathers. So that was really fun. Kim is just the ultimate consolation prize. He has been the heart of this team, what feels like all year in a lot of ways, and he deserves a lot of credit. And he's just a top 20 player now, overall. And that's really, really crazy to think, considering that he was just an average offensive player. To see what he's become is amazing, and it shows some hope, dare I say, of what happens when maybe you take your time and when people develop a little bit and you don't immediately just want the big stars all the time. Maybe AJ Pro and company will take note. That's a little bit of an aside, but regardless, hopefully they could keep this up and going. And at the minimum, just have players that we do well, because I personally think they're out of the playoffs. But we'll see. You never know. Until next time, guys, stay faithful.
That's it for this edition of Locked On Game to Game MLB. Thank you for making Locked On your first listen every single weekday. The postseason push is here. Make sure that you're subscribed to Locked On MLB and your favorite team's Locked On podcast on YouTube and wherever else you get your podcasts from. I'm Kainani Stevens. This has been Locked On Game to Game.